Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the 142nd episode of the Philly Blitz Pod. I'm your host, Pierre Baptiste. I'm here with my usual co-host, Mark Welford Owens, and we are joined by a friend of the pod, honorary Blitz member, JP Acosta. Mr. Big Time, Mr. CBS Sports, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is my first time with the new overlay, the new graphics. This is nice. I feel like I stepped into like a new house. I got to take off my shoes.
Take off your shoes, man. That's how we feel. I was just about to say, Pierre, you got to re-say that again, man. CBS Sports. You got to have that in all. If y'all got the closed caption on as we speak, you got to make sure that's in all capital letters right there.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's always a blast talking football with y'all, and there's a pretty big game coming up.
On both ends. You're not going to get away without us figuring out what's happening in Duval.
It's a big game for both of us. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think that I was actually going to be here in like this space. Playoff game? What? I'm excited.
Yeah, so before we get into it, I just want to say shout out to the good folks at 14th and Market who rep us. But yeah, JP, me and Q, we were talking earlier today, and we kind of had a mini debate before the pod about the Jaguars. So would you say that Trevor's success this year is more due to Trevor himself or the impact that Liam Cohen has had on him?
I would say yes and no. I'd say both. Honestly, Trevor has grown a lot. He's run a lot more this year. He's been a little bit more. I think if I was comparing it, it's more of like in past few seasons with Trevor Lawrence, due to injury, due to the playing style that Doug Peterson wanted to play, he was a bit more rigid. And that worked to an extent. But when the play started to break down, he also wouldn't scramble. And now it feels like he's playing a lot more loose. They're using him in the run game. I think he's improved a lot. But also, sort of what we've been saying in Jacksonville has been confirmed, which is nobody caught passes. Like nobody was catching passes. Like through the first 10 weeks of this season, before Jacoby Myers, they led the NFL in drop rate. And now like there are a lot less drops on the field, and you're seeing the offense take off because people are catching passes now. And it's a lot more. I think it's both the environment that Liam Cohen has brought around Trevor Lawrence, but I also think Trevor has improved. He's gotten fully healthy, and it's sort of uniquely where both things came together at one time, and now you can see why Liam Cohen wanted to work with Trevor Lawrence.
Definitely, man. It kind of what I was trying to get into when me and Pierre was talking. We couldn't necessarily find a middle ground. And I joked when we were talking about it, I was like, man, I keep trying to say how Trevor has grown, how he's processing things faster. This isn't the same Trevor that we saw at Clemson. I mean, at Clemson, in my opinion, he's been the same guy since his freshman year till about 365 days ago, well, till today. And he's like, yeah, but the coaching. And I'm like, brother, let's focus on the task at hand right now. So, I mean, I definitely agree where I could say it's a two-sided coin, especially in the avenue of how he's been able to utilize the running backs, man. We thought once we got Tank Bigsby, who has been a heaven sent for us whenever he can get on the damn field, but we thought once we got Tank, it's like, oh, well, maybe they're throwing in the towel on the year. They're trying to figure out who's going to be here or the rebuild and things of that nature. And you see Bashaw Tootin when he can stay healthy. You see Travis Etienne and his resurgence. Of course, as you mentioned, Jacoby Myers and the acquisition there. The offense is rolling, but the defense is really, when you turn on the all 22, that's where you really sit back and grab your popcorn at.
Yeah, this defense is incredible. I think Anthony Campanelli, who is the first-year defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, has done such a good job with taking from every single critical or viewpoint and philosophy on defense in the NFL. They do a lot of the same quarter, half, same coverage structure as the Eagles, but they also mix it with some of the uber aggressive fronts that Brian Flores likes to play. And so you combine it with everything that they do from all these different parts of the NFL, and you get what the Jaguars are running. And on top of that, the players have improved so much on that side of the ball. Jerry Jones has been really good this season. You've gotten great play from Buster Brown. They both of them have actually effectively benched Greg Newsome to where your starters are Jarian Jones and Buster Brown on the outside, Jordan Lewis at nickel. And then you've gotten great play from Antonio Johnson. Devin Lloyd has been played like an all-pro this season. Josh Hines-Allen is fourth in the NFL in pressures. So you're just getting nice improvements from everybody, but the defense just looks like they're playing so much more cohesive and playing so much faster. It's funny because last year under Ryan Nielsen, they didn't do a lot different. They played a lot of man coverage. They didn't play a lot of zone. This defense feels like they're being a lot more complex on the back end, but they're also playing a lot faster.
Yeah, so under Campanelli this year, statistically, eighth overall ranked defense, number one run defense, 11th fewest yards allowed, and you just outlined kind of the overall cohesiveness of the unit. But like, it's kind of been night and day compared to last year, like you talk about with Ryan Nielsen and now with Anthony Campanelli. So, like, I know you said it's just the players are playing better, but like, what's changed?
I think what's changed is there's just a lot more variety in coverage. There's a lot more versatility. You have guys where you can play these 4-3 structures or base defense with Dennis Gardeck on the field, and you can also play out in coverage because you have Gardeck who can play in space. You can do a lot more fun stuff blitzing. But I just think that own coverage, and from there you get so much more emphasis on putting the pressure on offenses. They blitz a lot, but they don't blitz to like get pressure and get sacks. They pressure and they blitz so you can throw and make mistakes. They want you to make a mistake throwing the football. And that's how they've gotten 11 of their turnovers have come when they blitz. They want to try and force you into mistakes. And I think putting the pressure on the offense, putting them on their back foot has been one of the coolest things about watching the Jaguars this year, because last season they felt a little passive, even though they played a lot of man coverage.
So, I mean, of course, we talked a little bit about the offense, a little bit about the defense. We talk about this Eagles team. They had a game recently where they played great offense and great defense, but the special teams was why they shot themselves in the foot. Hello, Missy Elliott, my dog. But on the Jacksonville front, you've had the opportunity to watch arguably the best kicker in football this year, man. And Cam Little has it. Talk to me about a little of this story.
When he went out there for that 67-yard kick, I had no doubt in my mind he was going to make it, which is insane to say. Like he walked out there and I'm like, okay, that's 3 points. He's hit from I really hope the Jaguars give him a chance to try and hit from 75 this season. Because that 67-yard field goal, he could have hit from 75. I hope they give him the chance to kick an actual 70-yard field goal in a game, because he probably will make it. He did it in the preseason. He has 3 of the longest made field goals in NFL history, if you include regular season and preseason. And it's in 70-yarder and the 70-yarder in the preseason. If you take that one out, he has the 2 longest field goals in NFL history in the regular season, 68-yarder, 67-yarder. I think he has been an all-pro caliber kicker, and it truly feels like, in basketball, when you say you have to guard like Steph Curry once he crosses the half court line, once the Jaguars get across midfield, you're in Cam Little range, which is going to be so effective. Like once you get into the playoffs, because that effectively makes it, you can go and get 3 points anytime you need it.
Like literally, especially with the new rules and you getting the ball at the 35, essentially a first down, and you're in Cam Little range already.
And not even just that rule, but I think it was implemented at the beginning of this year. But like the kickers, like they can bring their own balls, like that they've used throughout the week, and it just makes it easier for them to kick.
It's cheating.
We need to make
Is it really?
I don't think it's cheating. I think we need to make it more difficult on kickers. Move the goalposts.
If we sit here and penalize Tom Brady to the point where he had to take the league to court because of a football that was deflated, y'all let these people take these footballs home, sleep with them, kick them all day, eat dinner with them.
Yeah, but they're not deflating them. They're just kicking them. They're breaking a ball in. Like it'd be different if like they're deflating the football. But like if you're deflating or inflating it, I feel like that is a penalty and that is a fine. But if you're just taking it home to practice kicking throughout the week, like I don't see a problem. Like it's like when like I'm sure pitchers when they're practicing or something at home, they have their baseballs they bring. Like you have your own bat. Like you have stuff that like you want to use and some familiarity, because kickers don't really get a lot of that. They got to use the other footballs that everybody else has. They got to do everything else like the players, even though they are specialists. So I think giving them their own little specialist football, it makes a lot of sense.
You know what I think the problem is? How, like, if it's a touchback, the drive starts at the 35-yard line. Bring back starting at the 20 to 25-yard line, please.
Yeah. Like, if I feel like it's not only that, but I just think, like, set the football on fire. Let's really up the ante when they kick. Move the goalposts. Force them to kick it through like a little hoop, like they do in like the circus. Like, if you hit like the middle of the crossbar, that's 4 points. Like, we really got to up the ante on the difficulty for kickers, because it's too easy now.
I agree. You got guys that have never made kicks before making kicks from 62. Get me out of here, man.
But just to put a proverbial bow on the Jags conversation, 8 wins in a row. Trevor Lawrence playing at an MVP level. Liam Cohen is probably coach of the year. How are you feeling heading into is it Sunday's game?
Yeah. I feel really confident, but I also know that the Bills can go off on anybody at any time. And sort of in the AFC, it feels like anybody can get got on that side of the conference. Every team is flawed, but I feel like the Jaguars have as good of a shot as anybody, or even like the best odds at, making it through the entire conference. I sort of feel like I feel like the AFC champion is going to be a team from the AFC South, whether it be the Jaguars, whether it be the Texans. I think either one of those teams will be in the Super Bowl. With the way that they're playing, and I know momentum can sort of be like, it's real, it's fake, but both those teams playing the way they are right now, I feel like it's probably going to lead to one of them making the Super Bowl.
It's just the Bills receivers are so bad. Like, they're not good.
Yeah. I'm the biggest worry about this game is that it turns into a Josh Allen variance game where, like, he'll make some boneheaded plays, but then he's going to hit you for a 50-yard touchdown, or then he's going to scramble for 30 yards. And you can't have that. I'd much rather I'd much rather slow down the run game and force Josh Allen to use his outside receivers than let him scramble around and make plays. So it's going to be a really, really fun game, really fun schematic game. I think the Jaguars offense can move the ball effectively on the Bills defense. And I think, honestly, like, if they get the ball first, they score and put them on the back foot, I think that'll be a really good formula for winning.
Got to run the ball, brother.
That's right.
Run the ball. That defense is a run funnel.
So before we move on to the Eagles, over under on Josh Allen boneheaded plays this week.
I'll set the over under at 1.5. I feel like there's going to be
generous.
That's too low, brother.
That's generous.
It's generous because I feel like Josh Allen has improved in not making the boneheaded plays. But
did you watch the game against the Eagles?
I was gonna say this season he has leaned more into it because everything else has been bad. So maybe I'll up it to like 2.5. We'll say
I was gonna say, man, if you guys, it's a 1.5 number if James Cook can get going early. I agree with that. If you guys can limit James Cook and put the game on the shoulders of Superman, shit, might be about 4, 5. Buddy, I was telling him that the other week as we was prepping for the Bills game. I'm like, well, after we prepped for the Bills game, following the game and all that, I'm like, outside of Jalen Hurts, probably isn't a quarterback in the league that I like more than Josh Allen. That's my guy. But, buddy, when I watch Josh Allen, it's I don't want to say it's not fun, but it's not safe for work. I can say that.
He is the king of please don't do that. Please don't do that. Oh, it worked. Don't do that again.
Mm-hmm. That's why part of the reason why I fell in love with Drake May during the process. I'm like, dude, what the hell? And it's like I put it in my scouting report. I'm like, man, when he believes, because if you watch Drake May from year one, well, sophomore year and then to junior year, when sophomore year, he believed in the offense and everything that was operating around him. And it looked a lot like Drake May right now. But when Drake May don't believe in what he got around him, Time to put that cape on, buddy.
He leans into the wacky shit. And like sometimes it works, but sometimes it looks really bad. So I'm hoping the Jaguars get a little bit of that really bad Josh Allen variance on Sunday.
All right, but to switch the conversation over to the Eagles side of things, I always like when we have guests on because it gives us a chance to kind of get like a outside perspective on this. An outside perspective on this Eagles team. So what do you make of the 2025 Eagles?
The 2025 Eagles sort of remind me of the 2024 Chiefs, where like everything about this team offensively is flawed. There are just fundamental issues with like the identity of this team, the execution, the play calling, like everything is wrong with that team offensively. But until they're actually until the fourth quarter is over, they are still in every game. And I'm writing a story for CBS Sports on one reason why every team can win the Super Bowl. And they asked me what's one reason why the Eagles can win the Super Bowl? It's because they can win rock fights. They can win ugly games. Their defense gives them enough of a margin for error to where they can sleepwalk through the first 50 minutes of a game, and then you get a Devontae Smith deep ball, or then you get a big A.J. Brown play, or Saquon Barkley finally breaks one. That's always the worry with the Eagles offense because they have so many stars, you can't keep them down forever. So I think this Eagles team is very flawed. But until somebody takes it to them for 60 minutes, I still think they're going to at least make to the divisional game, and they might make the NFC Championship.
So it's a two-sided coin here. On one hand, I breathe a big sigh of relief because, for a guy that comes on a lot, that was sure generous of you. I've been joking, but it's not really a joke with all the guests that we've had on this year, all of them. Man, you should have listened to Alex talk about this team, buddy. He said it in such the nicest way. I'm like, y'all don't hear him calling us ass? He just called us ass, but he just sat here and was like, but they could also do it like this and that. But based on how the Chargers played, this probably would happen. And he wasn't wrong. He was very accurate. But I'm just sitting here and everybody who describes this team is like, yeah, man, pretty ass, but defense is great. Pretty ass, but the defense is great. I don't know what to make of them, but hey. And to hear you say that, it kind of come to I don't want to say humbling, but at this course of the season, it's kind of come to a humbling point where, you kind of got to accept yourself for who you are. That's kind of been our MO. That's been the one thing that we've hung our hat on about this football team for all season long. We talked about it a lot last year. We talked about it even more this year. We always use the boxing analogy or the boa constrictor. They just want to get you into the deep end, brother. And if you can get into the deep end, I like our chances there. But all the stuff that happened leading up to the deep end, it's not fun. It's not fun, man.
Yeah, if the issue with trying to pull everybody to the deep end, especially if we're using the boxing analogy, the issue with trying to pull everybody to the 12th round is what if you get knocked out in the 8th? Or what if you get knocked down hard in the 6th or the 5th round? Then it becomes okay, what's the next punch? What's going to be the next way that this Eagles team can win? Because they can win games if it's close. If it's just if the game's 3-0 or 3-3 or 7-6 at halftime, the Eagles can win those games because the defense is going to constantly give the offense chances to just move the football. And if not, even if it's not scoring points, the Eagles offense can just move the football and just hold the ball for a long time. That gives the defense a lot more of a time to rest, getting back to 100%, and they go right back out there and they stop them from scoring again. The issue is, what if the other team lands a haymaker on the defense? What if you break off, if we're using the Chargers game, what if Amari and Hampton breaks off that 50-yard run? What if you get what if it's a short field off a turnover? You have to be able to, I think you have to be able to win in different ways. And that's my biggest worry with this Eagles team is that if the defense gets hit with haymakers, can the offense respond with haymakers of their own?
Yeah, so it feels a lot like last year in terms of the offensive struggles all year, the defensive dominance, but the only difference being Saquon isn't hitting those home runs. He's not hitting the haymakers, right? And because of that, they've struggled to generate explosives on a consistent basis. And kind of like you said, Quell, as a result, like they've just struggled to figure out who they want to be. And like that can be attributed to a bunch of different factors, whether it's Patullo, whether it's Nick Sirianni. Some people might even want to put it on Jalen. I disagree. But like it's the playoffs, right? And you're the defending Super Bowl champions, and you still don't know who you want to be as an offense. There's still no identity. Like that's what's derailed them this year.
I think they do realize who they want to be. I think they've always known who they want to be. It's just about getting their execution wise, play calling wise, basically getting everybody on the same page. Now, my problem with everything is kind of like what JP just said. I've said it on multiple occurrences during the podcast throughout the season. This offense just don't adjust. When, like he said, if a team lands a haymaker, or if we in one of those rock fights that we talking about through the first 2.5 quarters, and then third quarter come around and they like, look, we're gonna make this theoretical change, like a lot of defenses have done to the Eagles in the second half of the games this season. What are you gonna do? And I mean, you leave margin for hope when you think about games like the Rams game. Like it's there. Y'all can do it. I know you can do it. But then you look, numbers may not tell all the truth, but they damn sure don't lie. And the numbers are right there, and they're telling you that specifically in the second half of games, y'all are a clueless offense. Y'all don't know how to respond when defenses do something different. So if you get that haymaker, what do you do, man? How do you respond offensively if you're Kevin Patullo?
Honestly, I sort of feel like the Eagles do know who they are this year. It's just not coming through that door. And it's the offensive line. Like the offensive line has just not been healthy. Whether it's Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, I don't think Tyler Steen has been like super impressive in his time at starting right guard. Lane Johnson's been out with injury. The entire MO, the entire advantage the Eagles have is their offensive line. They are able to bully teams. When things got tight last year, they were able to lean on the run game, not only for the explosives, but they could grind out 5-6 yard games. They could shorten games and force you to have to score on every drive to keep up with them, or else they were just going to ball control you to death. But now this season, they don't have the offensive line that can just push teams around. I think Kevin Patullo has also not been able to adjust in the second half based on, okay, this team really can't run the ball effectively, so we're just not gonna we're gonna slow down those early down runs, and we'll see what they can do off of it. I also think that there's just been a really weird lack of under center play action in the second half of games. Yes. First half, like using the Bills game, for example, I think Jalen Hurts had like 7 play action passing attempts in the first half.
He was on a heater. Bro.
He played well in that first half. I thought he was doing really good avoiding sacks. I think that using the threat of the run game, even when the run game's not working, using the threat to open up play action was really smart. And then in the second half, they had 1 play action pass attempt. It just felt like the Eagles went into halftime with a lead and they parked the bus. They're like, okay, We're done. No more scoring. We're just going to let the defense win this game for us. And that's fine when you play teams like the Raiders or teams like the Giants or Commanders. But when you're in the playoffs against teams that like can put up points and teams that will constantly give their offense cracks at the bat to just go and get scoring opportunities, you can't just lean on the defense. You got to go at least put points on the board. You can't keep putting them out there. You can't keep going 3 and out. And I think it's really important for a game like this one coming against the 49ers, because while the 49ers defense isn't great, what they do is they give the offense a lot of opportunities to go and score points. That's the whole 49ers thing this season is we're going to go try and score 40. All the defense has to do is get 1 stop. If you guys can get 1 stop to keep it close or 1 stop to help us get ahead, once we get a lead, the Niners will not stop scoring.
That's been a pretty interesting thing for me about this team. Pierre, you mentioned when we were talking about the Jags, that Liam Cohen probably has Coach of the Year wrapped up. Maybe after last week's performance by the 49ers, probably. But for the first 17 weeks, hell, probably to this point, he still got my vote. Kyle Shanahan has been a monster, man. This has probably been his most impressive job. Out of all the snake oil salesman stuff that you say and all that cool, look, man, you got to tip a cap to. You look at what they've lost defensively, they've lost everything. There's no Bosa. There's no Warner. There's like they've lost
They're going to be playing
everything.
Eric Kendricks on Sunday.
Brother,
they just signed Kaiser White off the street.
They are grasping at straws defensively right now.
Fred Warner is hurt. Fred Warner's backup is hurt. Fred Warner's backup's backup is hurt.
Like, man, it's so bad that my dog had a fractured leg or something. He like, man, if y'all can win next week, I'll try to get back out there.
He said he was going to come play for the NFC Championship game. Like, you have a broken ankle. Like, enough. Like, it's got to the point I got a phone call from a San Francisco area code. I can't do it. I can't go out there this week. I'm all the way in Florida. You can't expect me to come out there.
I'm saying, like, it is not been impressive what they have out there defensively. And like you said, they continue to shout out to Robert Saleh, putting together great defensive performances. But then you look offensively, and I listen to this podcast that make a running joke every week that they have essentially sacrificed every member of the offense or every soul that they could find on the offense to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. As long as Christian's healthy, we all right. We can sacrifice anybody. They sacrificed their starting quarterback for 8 weeks. They said we don't need him, and still almost had the 1 seed because we got that guy. Like, this probably has been his finest work, man. You can do nothing but tip your cap to what they've been able to do this year.
100%, man, 100%. But before we really dive into the matchup, something you talked about, JP, a couple minutes ago, Kevin Patullo, right? Like, he's been under fire all season. I've lit the flame a bit. Kind of poured gasoline on it. Quell, he's been more the patient one. Parth, he's been right there with me pouring gasoline on it. Do you think he's coaching for his job in the playoffs as they kick off this weekend?
Oh, I think his job is gone, regardless of what happens. They can win the Super Bowl, and the next day they will probably fire Kevin Patullo. that is how bad the offense has gotten this year. Like,
you think Nick gonna do his mans like that, bro?
Hey, you got
that's Nick Mans, bro.
Remote him.
Hey, you know what? Nino Brown had to go and shoot his man. Everybody got to go.
This thing's bigger than Nino Brown.
Yeah, it's bigger than Nick Sirianni at this point. Like, you can't really, like, I could say all you want, like, that's his man's, like, offensive line was hurt. There is no reason for a team this talented on offense to struggle moving the football. And the Eagles, like, on top of, like, they're not volatile. Like, it's a different thing if you're just like hitting like random 40-yard gains like every other drive. The Eagles aren't even doing that. They're literally going 3 and out at a higher rate than they have been at any point of the Jalen Hurts tenure. Like, that's not sustainable.
Have you seen the meme where it's like Saquon up the middle, and they brought deep ball.
I was just about to say, brother, that has been our life all year. And don't let us be winning the game in the second half. Oh boy, they were running that ball straight into 8 people.
They were up 21-3 on the Cowboys and lost the game.
That was really the game where I'm sort of just like, it's not happening for this Eagles offense. And digging a little bit into like the game matchup with the 49ers, and I said it on the show the other day, if you can't run the football against the skeleton crew of the 49ers, it's not happening. If you can't move the ball against this 49ers team, it was never meant to be in the first place. Because this is not a team that you should struggle moving the ball on. And the Eagles, like, again, it's come down to their automatics, their ability to just go and get like 5 yards on the ground that has not shown up this season, and it's been hammered a lot, but it really is like it comes down to they're just not able to grind games out. They're not able to go and get first downs at a high rate. Like this season, they had the highest 3-and-out rate of any Eagles offense since 2020 at 38.2%, according to True Media. The next highest 3-and-out rate was 2020 at 34%. So that's almost like a 5% jump over 5 years of just not being able to convert like a first down. Like that's not even a like we get a first down, we keep moving the ball. That is run, punt. Like, that's essentially what you're doing. And it feels like this offense has become so constrained within itself and their lack of running the football that they don't really have an adjustment now that they don't have the fastball.
Yes. And the crazy thing is you even saw it last week with the backups with Tanner McKee and Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby had like what 2 15-yard gains in third quarter, and then they just didn't give him the ball anymore.
Oh. I'm here to tell you, brother, that was intentional. I told you heading into the game that I don't know what this guy was talking about. He's like, yeah, I'm excited to watch Tank Bigsby. I'm like, watch who? Tank Bigsby. Brother, if I see Tank Bigsby, I might pull out a dread. Like, what do you come on, sit beside me. Go sit beside me, brother. You ain't got nothing to prove, man. Stay ready for this. Stay ready for the playoffs. Stay ready for the playoffs. I mean, they let him play a little bit, but once they seen what they needed to see. And this coaching staff, they haven't shown you anything this year. Hell, in the Super Bowl, they showed you when they're ready to pull the plug, or the plug is pulled. You're not going out there. We won't see you again. So that, I mean, I get your point, but even to your point, the lack of running game in general, whether it was Tank or not, AJ Dillon, Will Shipley,
why is he on the roster?
Commitment for last week, and for the positivity bunny, man.
He got to be a good friend. Like that again, if you're not like if you are a bottom of the roster player at this point, you are the best friend in the world.
I'm saying vibes guy. Pick everybody up. You need to go check out Eagles running backs meetings. They probably be sitting there like, so AJ, you got the donuts today? Yeah, man.
you know, like everybody meet at AJ Dillon house. You know, watch a movie, decompress. In the off season, they grilling over at AJ Dillon house. He is the vibes guy.
I'm saying, but as you spoke about, with it's probably the doom and gloom of Kevin Patullo. I mean, we'll probably save all our details for the game preview, but on your front, outside of running the football, of course, I mean, that's the obvious answer. What does a successful Philadelphia Eagles offense look like attacking this San Francisco defense?
I think first, like, for them, it's really getting Jalen Hurts involved as a runner. And it feels like, and I brought this up on one of our shows a few weeks ago, like if they're not using Jalen Hurts as a runner, what is the point behind anything that the Eagles want to do? Because the whole point of having Jalen Hurts as a runner is because you enforce teams out of too high, because that is an automatic +1 in the run game. But this season has been the second lowest design run rate for Jalen Hurts of his career. So it just feels like if you're not going to use him as a runner in this game, in the playoffs, a do or die scenario, all I heard was they're saving Jalen Hurts' health for the playoffs, which I understand because you don't want him getting hurt during the regular season.
Again,
if you don't run the ball with Jalen Hurts, and not just like option plays where he keeps the ball, it is design, QB draw, QB power, get him going upfield, like get him involved in the run game, and that'll force the 49ers defense to adjust. And that forces them to bring a guy upfield. And that's where the Eagles offense really starts to click, when they can beat you at the math game. If you have to force a guy into the box because of their run game, then the one-on-ones to Asia Brown, Devontae Smith start to fall. But outside of the Jalen Hurts design run game point, I think where this game is going to be decided is the 49ers have not been a very good pressure team. They are last in the NFL in pressure rate. They don't have it. They don't have Nick Bosa. That's really it. Their next best pressure guy is Bryce Huff. And even then, I think Bryce Huff this season.
Do these sacks count? No, they don't count as the playoffs. Damn.
I got to go check just to make sure. But I believe this season, Bryce Huff's pressure rate is Bryce Huff's pressure rate this season is 13.9%. Nick Bosa's is 16.1%, and he's played 113 snaps in this season. And that's what we're getting. That's the point of, like, they miss Nick Bosa so much in the pass rush department that they've leaned on the blitz lately. But a lot of Robert Saleh's blitzes are man blitzes. That's something that Jalen Hurts can beat because he can scramble, or he's going to beat you over the top with the deep ball. But against zone blitzes is where Jalen Hurts struggles a little bit more, which is bringing somebody that isn't supposed to be there or dropping somebody that's not supposed to be there because he has to hold on to the ball. And I think there have been some improvements. I thought he played well in that aspect in the first half against the Bills. And in the second half, everything just fell apart. But if the Eagles are going to beat the 49ers on offense, it has to be with Jalen Hurts' involvement in the run game and then just easy answers in the passing game. Force these defensive backs that are relatively young, like Renardo Green's second-year player, Upton Stout is a rookie. Force the young DBs, force the young linebackers to go and cover.
Oh, so man. You talked about, getting Jalen active in the QB run game, the design runs and everything like that, and how they didn't want to, utilize them in those design runs because of injuries and wanted to prevent injuries. This is the first time in 5 years that in Jalen's 5 years as a starter that he's going into the playoffs healthy, like fully healthy, no lingering injuries, no anything. So, like you said, if there was a time to, push the button, it's time to push the button.
Push the goddamn button.
Yeah, like this is the perfect time to, like we said, it is a single game do or die scenario. There is not going to be another game tomorrow if you lose. There's not going to be another game if you don't involve Jalen Hurts as a run. You can't say, "Oh, we'll just do it next week." Like this is it, and especially because the Niners are going to be on LB7 and LB8. Force them to play football in this game.
I would love to.
And to that point, like, there's been a ton of talk, whether it's Sirianni or Patullo, about this proverbial switch that can be flipped, right? Like, it's time to flip the switch, man. Flip the switch.
Man, I would love to sit here and say, yeah, y'all guys are spitting. But I watched that Bears game, and I watched the Bears out there with linebackers 4, 5, and 6, and the Eagles essentially say, those look like starters. Nah, don't throw the ball there. Not right there, guys. Don't run at them.
Dallas Goedert said he didn't even know they were on their third and fourth string linebackers. I
completely forgot about this, and now I'm going to have nightmares tonight. Thank you.
Somebody got to say something, bro.
They have to attack these linebackers, attack the safeties. These 49er safeties are so aggressive filling the run, especially in quarters. That's how Robert Saleh plays his defense. They play a very aggressive style of quarters, meaning they're hammering every single dig route over the middle. Malik Mustafa is coming up to hit shit. He's not coming up he's not trying to make a play on the ball. It's like that Major Wright quote, like I'm not going after the ball. I'm going after him. Like that's Malik Mustafa. He is not going after a football. He's going to delete you. So if you can get them to play that aggressive quarters, you can get a ball in over the top. You can attack them with explosive plays, but you have to earn the right to be explosive by forcing them to account for the run game. And I think that's really what's been missing for the Eagles. It's been there in spurts. I think they went to the 6 offensive lineman stuff, and that really was helpful. And then Lane Johnson got hurt, so they really couldn't play another offensive lineman. They tried to do that stuff. Hopefully with Lane Johnson back, you can get back into the 6 offensive linemen, the jumbo stuff,
Brother, they played one snap. They played one snap of that after the Lane went out, and my Matt Pryor got called for a penalty. He never saw the field again. Never saw the field again, dog.
Whenever he's been on the field this year, Matt Pryor has been so bad. Like he's been awful.
He was good when he was at guard, but at
tackle,
and
I think that's the problem. They keep trying to force him at tackle.
And again, some of the issues that I've had with Kevin Patullo and with forcing people to be on the field when they shouldn't, he forces 12 personnel and 21 personnel without having the bodies to actually do it, which is why playing jumbo and having Fred Johnson as a 6th offensive lineman is so important. I never want to see Grant Calcaterra again.
Brother.
Oh,
Oh,
I was about to say.
Like,
oh my God.
we can do a lot of like why the Eagles' run game is falling apart and point to a lot of different things. Grant Calcaterra not being able to sustain a block is a large part of why they can't run the football.
I have a
So
take.
bad.
I have a take.
Bad.
I have a take. Ben Van Sumeren tearing his ACL at the start of the season ruined the season. Yeah,
I would say
it's
Jack
the biggest
Stoll
reason
in
for
New
this.
Orleans, Van Sumeren gone, like, and you're not going to play Cam Latu. Like,
he's better. He's better
He's the
than
blocker.
Calcaterra. He's the
He
blocker.
has his job.
Look, being better than Calcaterra as a blocker is not a high bar. And
You're right.
And
I mean,
Latu
my
isn't
man
that
name is
great of a
Ant
blocker.
Locketer.
Yeah, like it's not exactly like that's a super high bar. But I think for the Eagles, if they can put Fred Johnson on the field as that 6 offensive lineman, they were really mashing people in the run game when they just put a big offensive lineman on the field instead of Calcaterra. But then Lane got hurt and everything sort of went out of whack. But if they're able to do that, I mean, you can force the 49ers into playing all their linebackers they have left. And putting them all on the field, the Niners are not good at defending jumbo. They're not good at defending 12 or 13 personnel passes. That's how the Rams beat them. They just hit them over and over again with 13 personnel. And if that's something that the Eagles want to do, I think they can, because this linebacker group is on, like we said, LB7 and LB8.
And so you guys talked a lot about the job that Kyle Shanahan has done this year. Kind of go into a little bit of detail about what he's been able to do this year. Like how has the 49ers offense kind of sustained success in spite of all the turmoil?
So the first thing is since Brock Purdy has come back over the last like 3 weeks outside of Seattle, and Seattle's a different monster, they've been awesome running the football. They've been much more successful running the football than they ever have this point in the season, which is what makes Kyle Shanahan's case for coach of the year so impressive, is because even though Christian McCaffrey's playing really well, this is one of his least efficient running seasons ever of his career. Like, he's not running the ball at a high like yards per carry or success rate clip. But what he's doing that's making them so successful is they're just hammering easy buttons. They force linebackers into conflict so well, and they force players into conflict in the run game. They force them into conflict in the passing game. There's so many things you have to honor when you play a Kyle Shanahan offense. It is the little dash motion they'll do that looks like a little like wishbone stuff, where you have to honor the front side of the run play, and then they'll just run split zone off of it, and that's the easy cutback lane. You have to honor the Christian McCaffrey check down, which is going to be a big point in this game because you're only going to have Ricky Pearsall in this game. And if George Kittle is anywhere less than 100%, like, you're only going to be on Christian McCaffrey. And so you have to honor the Christian McCaffrey check down, which opens up dig windows behind it. And I also think that Brock Purdy, for his warts, has played really well since returning from injury. He's played within the offense, and when he's asked to do stuff out of structure, I think he's done a good job. And now there will be times where he kind of has too much dip on his chip.
Yeah.
But I think the offense and what Kyle Shanahan has done so well is he uses Christian McCaffrey's gravity to open up lanes for everybody else.
That's kind of like the best way to put it. Like, kind of how you mentioned with the easy buttons. They're going to find 108 ways to get Christian McCaffrey the ball. And once you start to key in on that, that's where you start getting, I mean, even if Kittle isn't healthy, I mean, of course, having the gravity of Kittle on the field means something for this offense always. But hell, he's been able to get production out of Jake Tonges. Like, they get the ball to whoever the hell they have to offensively. And again, it's been very impressive. Hey, man, probably the best game of the year. I can't remember who they played again. Might have been the Rams, actually. The best game of the year for them was probably the Rams game early in the season. No Brock Purdy, no starting receivers. You got Mac Jones throwing dats to
Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne, who got signed like literally 24 hours before that or something like that, brother. Like, he just got here. and now he has 150 yards receiving, and so the creativity is off the charts, and they find a way to use their best players. Now, the thing with this is on the other side of the ball is you got that guy we like to call Big Zen, Vic Fangio, Uncle Vic, and of course the famous quote that Pierre loves to bring up: between McVay and Shanahan, them guys say they see Fangio in their sleep. Like, he tortures them. He has tortured them their whole career. So this matchup in itself, talk to me. I mean, we've seen the tweet that you posted: Eagles offense versus, it's 49ers defense, Eagles defense and 49ers offense. So talk to me a little about what you think the Eagles defense and Vic Fangio specifically could do to counter a lot of what you just mentioned.
My first question for the Eagles and for Vic Fangio is, how comfortable are you playing man coverage against this team? Which you should be. I mean, the Seahawks played man coverage against the 49ers and kind of shut them down last Saturday. And I feel like Vic Fangio has leaned more into man coverage this season than he has in other seasons before. I think it's due to the growth of Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean on the outside, and I think they have a trio of linebackers they really trust in man coverage against tight ends and running backs. Now, the question then is, if you play all this man coverage, do you double George Kittle? Or who do you want defending George Kittle? Because I love Jihad Campbell. I don't know if I'm putting the rookie in that scenario. I don't think he is ready for George Kittle. If it's Bond, then do you let Jihad Campbell guard Christian McCaffrey, who is a different and more unique type of beast as a receiver? Like, he's going to hit him with choice routes, option routes. Is this going to be who is going to be the matchup on the two most important players? Is this going to be a 1-double-85 game where you
do the nickel?
Yeah, what you could do is, if you want to play nickel against this 49ers team that really hasn't been that successful running the football. Again, that is the biggest thing here. They haven't been that great at running the football. So I think the Eagles can defend the run against them in their nickel defense, which opens up a lot more possibilities. If you wanted to, you could just have Cooper DeJean guard Christian McCaffrey and double George Kittle with a safety and a Jihad Campbell, and just say, if Demarcus Robinson beats us, like, okay. Like, if you're going to have Ricky Pearsall beat us this game, then you deserve to win anyway, if it's going to be a Ricky Pearsall game. But you cannot let it become...
Is Ricky playing?
I don't know. Again, that is the biggest issue with the 49ers. Like, who is going to play in this game? Like,
I think he's playing. I mean, hell, we got to continue to see how the week progresses. But so far, I think, from what I've heard, he should play.
So he did re-aggravate his knee injury.
Oh.
So it is still very much up in the air if he actually plays in this game. But if he doesn't play in this game, you're trotting out Sky Moore, Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. If this is Jawan Jennings game, fine. Like, okay, you clearly just want it to win. Like, the football gods have decided that you will win this game if it is a Jawan Jennings game. But you can't let it become a Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle game. And again, if the Eagles can defend the run out of nickel, which the Seahawks did a really good job of, and I think the Eagles have the personnel to defend the run out of nickel, there's so many ways that you can attack this 49ers offense if they're in man coverage. Now, the issue is, if you do get a lot of man coverage, Kyle Shanahan is just going to spam the choice routes. He's going to spam option routes for Christian McCaffrey. That is their easy button. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle choice routes, and Brock Purdy as a scrambler. And that's something that's sort of underrated about Brock Purdy's entire thing. Why the Niners offense works better with Purdy than it did with Jimmy Garoppolo is Purdy is willing to scramble. Purdy is willing to make plays out of structure. Do you live with that variance if you are Vic Fangio in the Eagles defense? Because if you just play straight zone against this team, or you try and match everything, they're just going to hammer you with choice routes and dig routes over the middle.
Yeah, man. And I mean, of course, like I said, we're going to save our detailed breakdown for the game for the preview show, but breaking down the Kyle Shanahan offense has always been interesting to me because I always think back to that quote he mentioned when I was listening to the podcast. Shout out to Jordan Rodriguez. I think it was called the Play Callers podcast.
On the
And
Athletic.
yeah, and he mentioned how he puts so much work into his offense that in a perfect world, if you ran your defense perfectly, then you're beat because that's what he's planning for. Like he needs you. Like the moment your safety accidentally drop back to 7 when he's supposed to be at 5, the play might be ruined offensively because he's not supposed to be there. He's supposed to be right there. Like they are so meticulous with their timing and how things work. So just seeing how all of it comes into play, no matter who they have in terms of personnel, it's always been fun. But just seeing some of the counters that Vic has been. If there's one thing I've enjoyed watching Vic since he's been in Philadelphia, is watching some of the counters that he's tried to show off of what the offense wants to do. Now, I mean, of course, I'll save all of this again, like I mentioned, but the one thing I do want to mention is I'm curious how much San Francisco will take from that Detroit game and those motion, like basically trying to cheat the numbers. Where if the Eagles go to 6-man fronts, where they're like, look, you're not going to run the ball against us. We're going to take that away. And then they bring in that motion man, basically get him the numbers game that we talked about earlier. How has the Philadelphia Eagles adjusted to that? Because I do think this was the one team that you'd see a lot of that from if anybody come playoff time.
Agreed. Go ahead.
I do think the motions are a really good thing to point out because the way Kyle Shanahan uses motion is to gain leverage. It's gain not only information, but it's gaining leverage on a lot of these zone concepts that teams like the Fangio disciples run a lot of. It's not just like we're going to motion to see if it's man or zone tell. It's a motion to get somebody inside leverage on a crosser, or we're going to motion somebody out to run a dig route to widen that corner to get to open that dig window. So I think the way that Vic Fangio defends motion, especially again, if they just decide to play man coverage, like if you're willing to live in man coverage against this team, how do you defend that motion? Because you can tell that Kyle Shanahan is going to come loaded with the motions, with all the weird formations, with some of the 21 personnel stuff that he's going to do. If Ricky Pearsall doesn't play, they're probably going to spam 21 personnel. Just avoid putting receivers on the field.
All the snake oil salesman stuff. But like you said, we're saving our kind of in-depth analysis for Thursday. But while you're here, JP, we got to get a prediction out of you before we let you go.
Wait.
Okay,
this is a two-sided question. We need a prediction if you're legally obligated, because I don't know if CBS say you got saved.
I'm obligated. I've already done my predictions for the playoffs, so I can say this.
Okay. All right. We need a prediction and we need an answer to the question. True or false? The Eagles can win this game if the offense only scores 13 points.
Well, that is a very funny true or false question to ask because my prediction was the Eagles winning 13-10. That is the most Philadelphia Eagles, like 2025 Eagles playoff score ever. They are going to score 13 points. It'll look awful. It'll be terrible. Nobody's going to enjoy it, and they're going to go to the divisional round anyway. I just think that without the ability to run the football effectively, I feel like this Eagles defense has enough to frustrate Brock Purdy, to close windows that he thought would be open. That's something that Seattle did really well. They closed a lot of the windows for digs that Brock Purdy normally thought would be open, and then he had to play the variance game. And you don't want to play the variance game against Seahawks because they have like 12 or like 11 different players who can chase him down or make his life difficult outside of structure. And the Eagles had the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. But on the offensive side of the ball, I just think they're just going to get enough. They're going to get a couple of explosives. If you can just get one deep ball, if you can get one Saquon Barkley explosive to put you up like 7-0, or if you go up like 10-3, or if you go up 10-7 or something, I think the defense will have more than enough to really slow this 49er offense down. It would be a lot different if they had another receiver. Like if they truly had like a second receiver that could really cause this defense problems, then maybe I would lean more into the thought that this game would have to be high scoring. But I just don't think that the Niners have enough. I think this is going to be when it all sort of runs out for them.
So one more question before we let you go. And this is kind of all encompassing, but do you think that this Eagles defense can carry the sort of inconsistent offense to another championship?
I wish I could say yes, because I think this defense is that good, but I just feel like given their performances against teams like the Rams and given performances against teams like the Bears, I'm a little worried about the offense keeping up with teams like Chicago and LA. I know the first time they played LA, I believe that was pre-Roger McCreary. That was like A.J. Brown went bananas in the second half. But I just worry that this offense, without the ability to lean into what makes them great on offense, the run game and the offensive line, I worry that they won't be able to keep up with teams like Chicago and teams like LA, like I said, the Rams offensively. I sort of worry if they get to a game against Seattle where they can't push Seattle around offensively, then they have defensive backs that are willing to bow up against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I'm a little worried that game ends like 3-2. And that game is going to be a pitcher's duel if it happens. But I don't know if this defense I'm not going to say that I don't know if the defense has enough to carry the offense to a championship. I don't know if the offense's weight might be a little too heavy for the defense to bear.
Don't worry, brother. I got it for you. I was waiting for it. And I mean, you've done such a phenomenal job at it all podcast. But remember earlier when I was talking about people was telling us your team is ass all year long. All I heard where he was like, man, I wish I could say yes. All I heard was the Kevin Garnett. Hell nah, trash ass. Like, what did you just ask me? Don't worry, we will keep hope though.
Yeah, I could see like if they could turn every game into a rock fight and they just get a couple of big plays from offense, I could see it. But the problem with trying to turn every game into a rock fight is when the other team brings just as many rocks as you, and you keep throwing rocks at each other, like somebody gonna break first. And I guess like with Seattle again, like I think Seattle could really give Philadelphia a lot of problems, because defensively they are just as big, just as strong, just as fast. And then offensively, they have the best receiver in the NFL this year.
Hey, man.
So trying to poke holes, that would be a really fun matchup defensively. But yeah, I think the Eagles defense has enough to get them to the divisional round. I don't know about from there, because then the offenses get a lot more healthier.
AQ.
Not too much of my ignorant man. My ignorant man is in that conversation too.
AQ. He must be ain't seen how Dory Jackson is strapping receivers in the second half of this year, dog.
My boy earned a nickname. He ate. You know how JJ McCarthy 9? He ate right there. Like my boy is he doing the thing until he nap.
I cannot believe Adoree Jackson has a nickname now. Given the way that it started, like I was sure like that was not going to end the way it did.
Hey, look, even up till about 2 weeks ago, he might have got a nickname, but we still on his ass. But then we seen the game last week, and we pretty sure his inbox, he ain't never seen so many apologies in his inbox after the game last. Keely Ringo looks so bad.
God.
Oh my goodness.
Lord. Brother, oh yeah, this is the podcast after that game. What the hell was he doing?
Brother.
You talking about on the Josh Johnson touchdown?
He turned around. He turned the other way.
I hate to like defend Keely Ringo in this scenario. You could make the argument that he is trying to get back to another open receiver.
No.
You can make that
brother.
argument.
There was nobody else to tackle the quarterback. He turned the other way.
And that's the biggest problem. Like, I was trying to explain to them. I'm like, look, I watched the film. I get what he was trying to do, but like, I don't think he considered the fact that he was the only guy left to tackle the quarterback. He like, oh no, the guy behind me is my guy and he's wide open. But like, if you leave, then the quarterback, look, man,
He
just
did
be
not
wrong.
understand.
Just be wrong.
He didn't understand that with Traylon Burks down blocking, he is now the end man on the line of scrimmage. And as the end man on the line of scrimmage, you can't run backwards. Like you have to keep contained because everybody else got washed out. So I understand why he did what he did, but that is also going to get memed into oblivion.
Like, dude.
It should.
My goodness.
And it wouldn't hurt as bad if, like, before the season we didn't hype him up like he was a second coming, and then only for him to get on the field. Well, if I didn't hype him up like he was a second coming, and then he gets on the field and produces that. Yeah.
It's genuinely like crazy, like how quickly, like, oh, like Keely Ringo can be this, that, the other, and Jacorian Bennett just getting snaps. Adoree Jackson has had to have like a career resurgence to make sure Keely Ringo is not on the field.
Yes, I see Bennett wasn't even no better, man. I'm like, yo, like, what are y'all doing out there?
I see why Vic has been like, hell nah, every time he's been asked if he's gonna play Jacorian. I see why.
Like, dog, it got to a point where like the Commanders truly had no offense going for themselves, except I know they can't cover. Just throw it short, and he gonna run, try to come back for the ball. He not gonna look back. I promise. Do it every time, and it worked every time. I'm like, bro, just look back for the ball. Like, that's all you got to do. Even just look like you even attempting to get the ball. And he like, oh no, he's trying to go get the ball. Grab a jersey. Like, oh my gosh. I'm so glad we ain't got to watch them play football no more. Hopefully.
But all the conversation that we've had throughout this pod, it could all be for naught, and the Eagles offense could just flip the switch and become a lead again overnight. But we'll see. The Eagles kick off Sunday at 4:30, Philadelphia. Playoff game. We gonna see, man. We gonna see. We gonna see. But as always, JP, appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for providing your excellent analysis, man. Like, it's second to none. And again, shout out to all 71 of you who tapped into the stream. I think, did you have anything else to add, Q?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Okay. If you're listening after the stream on whichever podcast streaming platform you're listening on, be sure to leave us a like and a review. Rate us 5 stars. Again, shout out to the good folks at 14th and Market. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Go Birds.
Hey. I don't know if it's gonna be Thursday or Friday. We'll see you. I'm trying, y'all. Trying to get back in the lab, get us something cool. I'll keep y'all posted.
But yeah, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go JP. Birds. Yes.
Eagles by 45.